Hi all, Diane here. It's July and it's hot. It's very hot. I'm upstairs. Oops, that's backlight. I'm upstairs in my craft room. This is where I do all my stamping, my greeting cards, and other things. I got the lights out because it's such a hot day. Let me turn it around. What I might do today is a tour of my craft spaces. See, the curtains closed because it's so warm. This is where I stamp. As I said, I really redid all these shelves and put stamps in their particular categories. It's much better now, but that's not why I'm here. I wanted to show my sewing room, and it's clean. And it's not often clean, so I'm going to do a tour of that today. Before I show you the sewing room, let me show you my kitchen. In this kitchen, I have been doing a lot of quilting. I usually use my featherweight, which is in its case right now, for piecing. But I put it away because I opened up this, what is this? A 6619. I don't remember the number, what number this is. I can figure that out. I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, this one sews like a dream too. So there's a block. That's what it's gonna look like. So I'm doing blocks up here, which is really nice. I can watch videos while I do it. This is my kitchen table, which is now a cutting area. That's a little ironing board there. And on this side in the hutch is a woolen mat and a little iron for ironing my little blocks. Also, I brought the embroidery machine upstairs because let's face it, we're not getting any company it's COVID. Nobody's visiting, not having dinner parties. I've got my other table over there for regular eating. This is usually the spread out table. So this is the auxiliary space for sewing. So now I'm downstairs, and when we first enter the room, this is a little shelving unit that I keep a lot of knitting things in. My crafting room upstairs has a shelf that's got a lot of yarn in it, and my living room is the rest of my knitting stuff. But this is the sewing area downstairs. Let me turn on some light. Oh, there's a little bit of a light on. I have my bulletin board with patterns and notes and things there. There was a big sewing cabinet here which took up a lot of room, and I wasn't really using it, so I took one of the older Singers, well, not old, like a 1990s Singer that worked. It was portable, and I stuck it with that cabinet, and I gave it away on Facebook Marketplace a couple of Sundays ago, and that worked out well. This is some of my stashes here. And this is something I finally did. I took all my scraps and placed them according to color in boxes. Like these are my darks and blacks, and this is like blues and such. And I put them in clear shoe boxes in this new shelving unit that Dennis brought me. Dennis always spies things that people are throwing out, and he manages to bring them home to me. I took this whole thing apart and cleaned it all up. It's great because these shelves pull right out. See? And these are parts of my sewing machine, and there's just little notions and stuff in there. So I'm going to turn some lights on in here and show you that with that cabinet out of my way, I think I've made more room for myself in here. This is a Singer that I'm making a cover for this machine today. This is a 301 that was in this house when Dennis bought it. I love this machine. This one works pretty good too. This one I use it when I'm down here. I just put some new butterfly fabric on this big ironing board that I have. There's a regular ironing board underneath that. This is just a cover that Dennis made for me, and I've got batting on it. I ripped off the old one because it was stiff as a board. It was full of, it gets stains from ironing all the time, and it also had so much starch on it. It was very stiff. So I just pressed this out, and I'm going to get the staple gun right now. Dennis has an electric staple gun in the garage. I can't open his bottom drawer, so I'm waiting for him to come home to give me the staple gun, and I'm going to finish covering that ironing board. Another TV down here for videos. And then there's, this is a quilt I'm making. It's over on the wall there. I'll show it to you. That's Waddington Road. I've got my machine covered. I'm trying to be really good about covering my machines when I'm not using them. This table is almost all clear. Well, it's two tables stuck together. And I did buy the Brother Scan & Cut, which I've been using. And it has its own table. Somewhere around here. I stuck it in a corner. But when I'm not using it, I just put it to the side. I haven't figured out a home for that yet. So this is my regular Brother sewing machine that I use all the time when I'm not upstairs. This is another ironing board that I have, this little laundry type ironing board that I'm recovering right now. I have to put some new batting on it and some new muslin dehumidifier. There's something wrong with the fan. It might just be loose screws. I gotta take it apart today and figure out why it's making that noise. This is it's very bright here. This is a big cabinet that I don't really need such a big cabinet in this space. This is my serger. I'm coming downstairs to fixing a blouse for my daughter. And I have a new serger called the Acclaim. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Can't believe how wonderful it sews. It's very, very good. My friend Robin has a quilt here that only has to be squared and bound. I'm going to give her a call and see if she'll want me to do it because, heck, it's a cool quilt. It's a farming quilt. Then this is another cabinet that I use. Well, that's where I usually keep my sewing machine, my embroidery machine, which is now upstairs. So it's just kind of a space holder there. I don't have anything in it right now, no machine. But I may be getting one soon. Or bringing one down. I'm not getting any more machines. That closet right there has machines in it. There are machines beyond here. Beyond here is my laundry area, which I'm doing laundry. See, even my doors are sticking because of all this humidity. It's dark in there now, but that's the laundry. I got a batch to take. My supplies are spreading into that room. Then there's a bathroom back there too, which makes it pretty cool. I don't even have to leave this room if I don't want to. Oh, this should put some lights on in this half of the room. This is my Martelli table where I do all my cutting, and for some reason this table doesn't get full of junk. Although, here, these are just two empty things that I'm looking for a spot for. This seems to stay nice because I use it just for cutting. It's like, it's in my, oh, that's not where the light is. It's in my head to keep it clear. Dog bed's under the table, but she mostly sleeps behind that sewing machine or behind the serger. She goes in back of the cabinet doors. It's dark here. Let me turn on a light. This is a little dry sink, I think you call them. I want to paint that white with or off-white with chalk paint. I gotta get some chalk paint because that thing's been around a while and it's kind of a mess. I've got that's the bobbin winder for my handy quilter. And that houses all the handy quilting supplies. I used to have my quilting machine on this smaller frame. That's the little foot. The little foot takes up much less room. Right now it's just kind of like a shelf for me. I didn't want to disassemble it. I was thinking of selling it, so I didn't want to take it apart. That's half the box. I got the rest of the box upstairs. I save all the boxes. But now I use this large space for when I have fabric that's rolled up that I don't want it to get all wrinkled. That's a ton of patterns. And this is also all organized and cleared out between Christmas ornaments that I make, those balls. What do they call them? They look quilted or woven. You put them on styrofoam balls. And then I have scraps. And those are scraps from projects. So there's a lot of one particular kind of scrap. So I save them at like an old quilt because there might be, 15, 20 colors there. Then I have scraps that are not cotton. That's my machine case. That's how I carry my brother around. I actually have an empty box, an empty container there, which is great. There's room to grow. I'm not just all stuffed in. Then I've got some Christmas fabric and Halloween fabric scraps or half-yard cuts. This little pink container has all fabric that I want to make some tops out of, and some patterns for tops are in there. And then I have 2 boxes for bag fabrics and bag linings. Then I got a big container of pre-cuts, which are anything from Chompaks to 10-inch squares. And I've got some fat quarters in that Missouri Star. It's a Missouri Star fat quarter case. Kind of cool. Got those in there. That's the other quilt. That's Waddington Road that I'm getting done. I'm making that's that block piece I showed you upstairs. And right now, because I don't have a quilt on the frame, I'm using the bars as a storage area. And this is this is a quilt I could have shown you upstairs. This is some pastels that I'm putting together in an embroidery quilt. Just some light pastels. It's kind of cool. It's going to be it's like a crazy quilt design. This is the border from my quilt upstairs. That's the mystery quilt. That's done except for the border, so this is going on next. This is probably the backing for the mystery quilt. This is the backing for Waddington Road, which is right here. And this was a scrap that I found at the bins last year. And it's a very big circle snowman. It's like a Christmas tree skirt, but I think I'm going to make it into a round tablecloth. And it's got these pieces where you can make these into pockets and put gifts in them. There's a bunch of pieces with this. I just dug it out of my junk the other day. Everything's organized now in boxes. I cleaned the floor. I washed all the baseboards. I put everything where it belongs. I'm putting new toppers, like I said, on my ironing boards. And I'll be done. That can be finished today because there's no going outside right now. It's just way too hot. So I'm going to just stay in here. And I think this is the way this is going to stay for a while. So here it all is. Here it all is. It's very comfortable down here because it's a basement, so it's always cooler in the basement. And besides that, I have an air conditioning unit. That's a little window with an air conditioner in it, so that's kind of cool. I can just turn it on if need be. This quilt's almost done. I have 3 quilts upstairs that have to be backed and quilted, so that's what's coming up too, as well as some garment sewing. Under there, I don't talk about that, but I have my batting, and I have extra batting and batting scraps and stuff like that. And in that blue bin, there's big pieces of fabric that I'll probably never use, but I have it. Actually, that's where I pulled out that butterfly cloth. I thought, that would look good as an ironing board cover. So, as you see, I had just enough. Because what this is just a piece of plywood. I can show you what this is. It's a piece of plywood that my husband built for me it just fits onto my regular ironing board. See that? I have a regular ironing board there, so if I want to do garment sewing, ironing, I can do that. It's a little shaky, right? And this fits on, let me just lift it one-handed. This fits on underneath so that you have a very large surface. It's half. No, it can't be half of a sheet. Maybe it is. What are sheets? 4x8? This could be... No, I don't know what this is. That could be 2. I don't know how... I wonder how long that is. Let me get my trusty old tape. Measure that. It's nice to know where everything is. Let's see. It measures... Spread this out and put this one right here, and it measures 36, 60. It's 5 feet, so it's 5 feet long, and it must be 2 feet. So it's 24 inches wide and 5 feet long. And what he does is he puts, I don't know if you can see it, he puts a piece underneath that hugs this, it hugs the tip of the ironing board, like if I pull it down. And there are two pieces like on each side here that kind of line it up. So once it's on, it stays on pretty good, and it's not that heavy to lift off. I just lift it off and put it against the wall. So that's it. That's the sewing room tour. I'm so glad it's clean because it can get itself so, yeah, it gets itself. I get it so messy when I'm down here working. But hey, it's just the way I work, I guess. But I do clean up. Here are some of my bags, my knitting bags. Showed you my stash. So there we are. There we have it. Thanks for coming along with me on a tour of my craft room. Enjoy your summer.